Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack a stack of sources to bring you the most important nuggets of knowledge.
Hello.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into the insights from top of the class, how Asian parents raise high achievers, and how you can too. A really powerful book by Dr. Sue Kim Abood and Jane Kim.
Yeah, this book offers a fascinating look at the principles and practices that contribute to raising successful children. And not just in academics, but really in life itself.
Exactly. It feels custom tailored to provide you, the listener, with actionable takeaways for raising high achievers.
Mhm.
So our mission today is to extract the core wisdom from this material to help you understand what truly matters in fostering, a lifelong love of learning and success in your children.
Right. Let's get into it.
Let's unpack this. There might be some surprising facts here that could shift your perspective.
Okay.
So let's kick things off with what the authors emphasize as, well, more than just a foundational idea. It's almost like a silent, powerful curriculum, parents as living role models.
Right. They really lean into this idea that you are your child's best role model.
Wrong.
It's about radiating that passion for your own work and continuous discovery, making it naturally infectious almost.
Naturally infectious. I like that. And they illustrate this so vividly, don't they?
They do. It's striking. Take Sue's close friend, Angela.
Yeah.
Her immigrant parents were deeply disgruntled with their nail salon profession. Their discontent was, well, palpable.
You could feel it.
Yeah. And the book argues it was unconsciously absorbed by Angela. Now, contrast that with Dr. Wong. Despite long hours as a physician, small salary, he genuinely loved his work.
Ah, okay.
And his daughter, Christy, she's now completing her surgical residency, apparently happy and fulfilled. So the core insight here is surrounding your children with adults who are truly empowered, enlightened by their professions. That can powerfully whet their appetite for learning.
So it's less about what you do and more about how you feel about what you do.
Precisely. That seems to be the key takeaway.
That distinction between discontent and genuine passion, it's so important. And it's not just showing enthusiasm, right? It's about joyfully investing the time.
Yes, absolutely. The authors share these wonderful childhood memories, family vacations mixed with countless hours spent with parents tackling math problems or deciphering difficult texts.
Which sounds potentially tedious, but they say
It didn't feel like a chore to them. That's the thing. It was simply part of the fabric of their family life, part of the routine, but in a good way.
and they made it fun too.
Exactly. They share this delightful anecdote about how their parents actively made learning an exciting affair, not boring.
How so?
Well, when they were kids, their parents brought Asian traditions to America. School supply shopping wasn't just a trip to Kmart. It was a special trip to a Korean supermarket.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Jane loved Hello Kitty merchandise, so enjoyed fragrant erasers. This wasn't just about buying stuff. It was about imbuing the act of preparing for school with anticipation and joy. Made them eager to use their new tools.
Okay, so learning can actually be exciting. How do they then deepen that commitment? The book introduces something they call the full-time student mindset. Asian children, they explain, are often raised to view the role of student as a full-time job, basically, extending beyond school hours. Whereas many non-Asian kids might see home as, school's over, time to switch off.
Right. And that might sound incredibly rigorous to some listeners, I imagine.
It does, yeah.
But the authors argue it's about consistent reinforcement. They illustrate this, kind of cheekily, suggesting Albert Einstein wouldn't be recognized today if he'd turned his brain off after 3 p.m.
Ah, good point.
So the practical application is establishing a strict yet enjoyable after-school schedule. This includes extra study time beyond just the mandatory homework.
So more work.
Well, yes, but it's about digging deeper. Their father would even make up more difficult questions after they finished their assigned homework, just to ensure true understanding, not just, checking the box.
Wow, that's dedication, building that habit of intellectual engagement.
Exactly. It's about building that habit.
And that consistency, I imagine, extends to how children view their educators, too.
Absolutely. The authors note that children will only truly respect their role as students if they believe their educators are respected.
And that time survey they mentioned is pretty concerning.
It is. That 2005 survey showing 73% of new teachers felt parents treated schools as adversaries.
Yeah.
That's a powerful, worrying statistic.
Yeah.
What's often missed, they argue, is that a strong parent-teacher relationship isn't just about putting out fires. It's about building a formidable alliance.
An alliance, okay.
Yeah. The actionable insight is really to integrate yourself into that educational partnership. Develop a proactive, collaborative relationship with teachers from day one. maybe starting as early as kindergarten, perhaps with regular, say, monthly meetings.
So it signals to the child that education is serious, shared business.
Precisely. It shows it's a shared endeavor, not just something that happens at school. And actually, it saves time and energy at home eventually, because you can adopt teaching styles that work best for your child.
Right, makes sense. So that deep personal commitment then extends beyond the individual child, moving towards the family unit itself.
Yes, very much so. The authors powerfully illustrate how Asian families often view themselves not as just like a collection of individuals, but as a single unified team,
A team.
a unit striving for collective success, where personal victories are, in essence, family accomplishments.
Interesting comparison they make to Alcoholics Anonymous.
It is, isn't it?
Mm.
That idea of group accountability and support being powerful motivators.
Mm.
Sue experienced this herself when she struggled with advanced chemistry at that specialized science school.
What happened?
Her entire family sprang into action.
Yeah.
Phone pep talks, Friday feasts, constantly asking, how can we help?
Mm-hmm.
Emphasizing they only expected her best effort. It wasn't just Sue's problem to solve alone.
That's huge. And it wasn't just Sue. Right, Jane had a similar experience.
Correct. When Jane's grades dropped significantly at the American school in Japan, her parents had moved to Tokyo, demanding jobs the family saw it as their problem collectively.
Oh.
So even spent her college breaks reviewing science concepts with Jane. It really reinforces this deep value of family pride and loyalty. It's like we succeed together, we struggle together.
And they bring in Andrea Young, the former Avon CEO, talking about that too.
Yes, how her Chinese parents instilled pride in their cultural heritage alongside adapting to American society. It's about that collective identity driving individual effort. Makes the burden lighter and, well, the achievement sweeter, perhaps.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. A crucial skill the book highlights, and one I think many parents, myself included, grapple with, is mastering delayed gratification.
Ah, yes, the marshmallow test writ large.
Exactly. The authors firmly believe that rewards reaped through hard work and diligence are just more satisfying, and parents should actively teach children to envision those end results.
Their own mother is a prime example here. She delayed her own dream, becoming a computer science professional, to focus on their education, always envisioning her future happiness through their success.
So she lived it, didn't just preach it.
Right. Modeling that long-term vision is key.
And I love the practical mini rewards they talk about. That's really clever.
It is. For something arduous like SAT prep, their parents incorporated short, instantly gratifying breaks. Ping pong, watching TV, trips to the mall, Pizza Hut.
Little bursts of fun.
Exactly. It made the long-term goal feel more manageable, more enjoyable, breaking down the mountain into, more palatable hills.
Makes sense. And they applied this to everyday lessons, too.
Oh, absolutely. Their mother taught them to read a new library book for a candy bar, but on the next grocery trip.
Ah, linking the delay to education. Subtle.
Very subtle. And similarly, she taught young Jane to sit still for 10 minutes while her nails dried, so she could enjoy them for weeks. Just using a simple, relatable task to build patience. It's about building that muscle of waiting for a greater reward.
And they took this even further with long-term incentives, like the car example.
Right, so Co wanted a used car for college, but her parents offered a brand new Toyota Tercel only after she gained acceptance into medical school.
Big difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And she cherished that car far more because she'd worked so incredibly hard for it. It attributed a deeper value to it.
So how do you get kids to actually buy into these sacrifices, especially when it involves things they really want, like Disneyland?
That's a great question. The author's father handled this brilliantly. He held a family forum, a meeting, to decide. So goes to an expensive Duke summer camp, or the whole family goes to Disneyland.
What did they choose?
The family actually voted for Disneyland, but the parents ultimately sacrificed their vacation for Sue's educational opportunity.
Wow, okay. But they made sure everyone else got something too.
Yes, that was crucial. They ensured a local amusement park visit and a Myrtle Beach trip for everyone later. By involving Sue in the decision, it wasn't just a top-down decree, it became a shared understanding, which really strengthened her commitment.
That's really smart. And there was another example with Jane in Japan.
Yes. When her parents had an opportunity to work in Malaysia, they included Jane in the decision about moving. They actually allowed her to stay in Japan with a friend's family to finish high school.
That shows incredible trust and dedication.
It really does. It powerfully demonstrated their dedication to her education and happiness, proving they were willing to sacrifice their immediate comfort, their immediate family unit being together, for their daughter's long-term well-being.
That commitment to parental sacrifice as a living example just keeps coming up.
It's a core theme. The author's parents lived modestly, small apartments, pinching pennies while many peers were, splurging on material things.
Priorities.
Absolutely. They prioritized spending on their daughter's education, ensuring, as they put it, two educated, well-adjusted, and independent children rather than, well, their words, two deadbeat daughters.
Strong words. But it shows their values through consistent action, not just talk, which is powerful.
Incredibly powerful lesson in itself.
Okay, that's a powerful image of quiet dedication. Let's shift focus now. Cultivating well-roundedness, respect, and even financial wisdom moving beyond just the grades.
Right.
The book shares a fascinating perspective, Secret 9, I think, that in America, popularity is often prioritized in schools. Celebrities as role models. But they argue for valuing intellect over popularity.
Yes, and it's striking how they contrast this culturally. In Asia, they say academic achievers are widely admired, whereas in America, popularity is often tied to looks, sports, other non-academic traits.
So the argument is...
The core argument is that academic performance in high school and college is what truly singles students out for competitive positions later on, not social status from high school.
Right.
So the actionable insight for parents is to view intellect and personality as better builders of self-esteem than sheer popularity, and maybe celebrate academic successes more enthusiastically than, say, social or sports triumphs.
Shifting the paradigm of what success looks like early on.
Exactly, shifting that paradigm.
And building on that, they suggest choosing high schoolers carefully, researching their track records, their atmosphere, making sure education is really the top priority.
Yes, like the specialized science school Sue attended. That choice wasn't accidental. It was strategic, based on its academic focus.
Okay. And that leads into balanced, positive reinforcement, avoiding extremes.
Right. Cautioning against both overly harsh criticism and excessive kind of empty, undeserved praise.
The 5 words game example is great here.
It really highlights it.
Yeah.
Sephora invented this game for her young niece, Layla, to learn reading. Layla earned lavish praise from the family. That's the external reward and self-satisfaction, the internal reward for mastering just 5 words.
And that motivated her.
Totally. It motivated her to choose learning over watching movies. It shows how strategic praise, tied to real effort and achievement, can ignite that inner drive, not just good job for anything.
Right, not just participation trophies. They also say it's okay to be proud of effort but unsatisfied with performance sometimes.
Yes, that's a nuanced but important point. If a child is, quote, hacking away at the piano for years with no real improvement or struggling massively with geometry despite genuine effort,
Then what?
parents should suggest realistic alternatives. While still admiring the perseverance, guide them toward areas where their efforts will likely yield better results. It's about constructive honesty.
Being supportive but also realistic. Okay. Now, pragmatism, career choices, and financial security. Secrets 10 and 11.
Absolutely. They strongly emphasize professions that are both intellectually stimulating and financially rewarding. Think medicine, law, engineering fields that often require lengthy, demanding schooling.
And they lived this.
They did. Sue spent every third night in the hospital during her 20s. Jane spent months prepping for the bar exam. They could sustain that intense effort because they had this deep appreciation for learning and a clear understanding that this hard work, this education, leads to professional security down the line.
And their parents guided them continuously.
Yes, talking early and often about career choices, even setting up meetings with mentors. They really stressed not underestimating financial stability's impact on happiness.
That's a very practical point.
It is. Noting that inability to pay bills is a huge burden, a leading cause of divorce. It's a very grounded perspective.
But how do you counter that allure of overnight success we see everywhere? The singers, actors, athletes who maybe didn't finish school.
Right. The exceptions that seem like the rule sometimes, their answer is explicitly teach children these are exceptions. Higher education significantly increases the chances for fulfilling and rewarding jobs.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly. Quoting Oprah, education frees the mind, battles ignorance and fear. And Sue herself admits she was drawn to surgery partly for the financial security. Didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. It's relatable.
Very relatable. But what about wealthy families where maybe that financial drive isn't as obvious?
Great question. The authors address this directly. Affluent parents should provide non-financial incentives for academic excellence.
Like what?
They give examples. Kathy's parents accumulated wealth early but lived modestly. They emphasized education, spent time teaching their daughters. Kathy's now a surgeon.
So it was about the value placed on learning itself.
Yes, and the O family, wealthy, but kept their sons on a tight budget tied to chores and homework. They even left one son, William, home with his grandmother while the rest went to Paris because he got a poor report card.
Wow. Tough love.
Seems like it. Teaching him rewards are earned through hard work. Both sons are now successful professionals.
And the flip side. What happens when that incentive, financial or otherwise, is missing?
They offer the cautionary tale of Dave. His parents' continued financial support with no clear strings attached or incentives led him to just coast through college. Got rejected from medical school.
Ouch.
Yeah. He only developed real drive when they finally pulled the plug, and he faced genuine financial consequences.
So the actionable insight there is pretty powerful.
It really is. Consider making children pay for at least some of their college education to instill that appreciation for making ends meet, the true value of their education.
Okay, strategic development. Extracurriculars, competition, influence. Let's start with extracurriculars. The book cautions against spreading kids too thin.
Strongly. Being the jack of all trades generally equates to being the master of none, is how they put it.
Which goes against the grain for a lot of parents feeling pressure to sign kids up for everything.
It does. They advocate for focused excellence instead. Limit children to maybe 2 or 3 activities where they show genuine interest and a knack for it.
Any specific recommendations?
Ideally, include at least one sport and a musical instrument if they're inclined. And the reason for this focus becomes crystal clear when you look at Sue's own high school schedule.
Right, she juggled tennis, piano, hospital volunteering.
Exactly. Just 3 things. But even then, her typical day involved late nights with homework plus additional studies. It shows the intense time commitment needed to excel even in a few areas.
And it's not just about academics or skill mastery, is it? Colleges look for more.
Yes, they note colleges prefer well-rounded, academically gifted students who are also personable, have strong moral character, are team players, have diverse interests, the whole package.
The cautionary tale of Alice, Jane's law school classmate, really drives this home.
It does. Top grades, law review academically brilliant. But her social awkwardness, her nervousness, apparently prevented her from getting job offers from top firms.
Why?
Because the firms couldn't envision clients trusting her. It really speaks to the need to develop those softer interpersonal skills alongside academics.
So extracurriculars aren't just filler.
Not at all. Significant benefits beyond academics. They keep kids busy and out of trouble. Sue and Jane credit their hobbies for keeping them away from drugs or alcohol. But crucially, they teach teamwork, multitasking, time management, all essential life skills.
Okay, what about competition? How do they frame that positively?
They argue that competition, when viewed correctly, brings out one's best performance. Not necessarily about crushing others, but pushing yourself.
The Seabiscuit analogy.
Yeah, it's compelling. The horse needed to look his competitor in the eye to find that final burst of energy to win. Competition as a catalyst.
And Jane's English teacher?
Right. Organize a writing competition with a prize. Result: significantly improved quality, creativity, grammar in student work. Competition created a focus, a reason to strive harder.
But how do they define winning? It's not just about coming first, is it?
No, and this is crucial. They teach children that winning means participating in a challenge and completing it to the best of their abilities, whatever the outcome. It's about setting a higher standard for oneself, not just beating others.
That's a really healthy reframing.
It is. It shifts the focus from external validation to internal standards.
So how do parents help kids overcome those fears that often come with competition? Failure, rejection, humiliation.
Their parents apparently always frame their competitions as successes. How? By focusing on what was learned, what could be done differently next time, rather than dwelling on just the win or loss. Fosters resilience, that growth mindset.
Makes sense. Okay, lastly in this section, the power of peer groups. Friends and role models.
Hugely important. The peers children choose are crucial for academic success, especially for teenagers who increasingly look to friends for guidance, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Energy and enthusiasm are contagious. So children surrounded by peers who set lofty goals are just more likely to follow suit.
The quote they use is quite pointed.
Better to finish last in a race of winners than first in a race of losers. It's a powerful idea. And it impacted them directly, so constantly encouraged Jane with her writing, which led to this book.
A real-world example of that positive influence. But what about negative influences? How do parents handle friendships that maybe aren't helping?
That's tricky. Jane experienced this herself. A close college friend, Darcy, her late-night calls about boyfriend drama started hurting Jane's law school studies. Jane had to set boundaries.
That takes courage.
It does. And conversely, her friend Shannon, who had similar goals, remained a supportive, understanding friend throughout. It really highlights the value of those like-minded connections that reinforce your aspirations. And yeah, the courage needed sometimes to distance yourself from those that don't.
Oh, as we move towards wrapping up, let's look at the global perspective and some important nuances, including where Asian parents might sometimes go wrong.
Right, some self-critique in the book, too.
First, this idea of America as a land of opportunity. Their parents really instilled that.
Deeply. It wasn't abstract for them. The book offers a stark reality check. American kids are born into a standard of living unimaginable for many globally who might worry about basic survival.
And the author's own travel experiences drove this home.
Absolutely. Sue's trip to South Korea at age 12, seeing limited amenities, a simpler life outside Seoul, made her realize what she took for granted in middle-class North Carolina. Just basic modern conveniences, freedom.
Opportunity brought into sharp relief.
Exactly. And Jane, living in Tokyo, showed her the greater opportunities for women, specifically in America, career-wise, compared to Japan's more male-dominated society and lower glass ceiling.
So how can parents cultivate this appreciation in their own kids?
Well, the book suggests, if possible, send them overseas. Let them experience different cultures firsthand, if that's not feasible.
Then what?
Encourage community volunteering, helping the less fortunate locally, or maybe host a foreign exchange student. Anything to broaden their perspective and foster appreciation for the opportunities they have here, creating those eye-opening moments.
Okay, now for that critical part, where Asian parents sometimes go wrong, the need versus the love for learning.
Yes. Some immigrant parents focus heavily on the need, drilling concepts,
Yeah.
homework lessons, but sometimes fail to instill a genuine love for learning itself.
And the story of Sandy illustrates the potential danger there.
It's a powerful cautionary tale. Math prodigy, pushed relentlessly by her father. Excelled academically, got an Ivy League scholarship. But she missed out on a normal childhood, never developed that intrinsic motivation.
So what happened in college?
Without direct supervision, she rebelled. Partied, drugs, lost the scholarship, became disillusioned, never reached her full potential because the drive wasn't hers. It's a stark reminder. Success without joy can lead to burnout or worse.
And then another area they mentioned is neglecting language skills.
Right. Parents not passing on the gift of speaking other languages, missing out on broadened worldviews, cultural connection, even professional advantages later on. A real missed opportunity.
And the third point, being results-oriented without support.
Yes. Demanding improvement, maybe threatening punishment, but without offering emotional support or actual strategies for how to get better.
The Mimi example.
Yeah, Mimi, an above-average student, gets some C's. Her parents lecture her for over an hour, compare her to her sisters, threaten grounding, but offer zero guidance or emotional support. Leaves her feeling alienated, shamed, probably less motivated. It's that missing piece, the support.
Which brings us to the final secret, accepting shared responsibility for failures. This contrasts with a lot of Western individualism, right?
It does. American culture often emphasizes individual success and blame think the apprentice survivor. You succeed alone, you fail alone.
But their parents were different.
Very different. Intensely emotionally invested. They believe they were largely responsible for their kids' failures and successes. A bad grade apparently affected their father's mood more than a bad day at his own office.
Wow. And the bar exam example?
When Jane failed the bar the first time, her parents, miles away, felt guilty, responsible. Her father said these inspirational pep talks, even comparing her struggle to Nelson Mandela's imprisonment. Intense, but also involved. He asked for her detailed study schedule. It showed their continued deep involvement and that sense of shared responsibility, even years later, even from afar.
So it's a balancing act.
Definitely. Parents accept some responsibility to stress education's value, but without totally stifling the child's independence. Ultimately, the child has to own it.
But the parents lay the groundwork.
Exactly. They lay the groundwork for understanding priorities and provide that continued involvement. And the book argues, convincingly, I think, that this pays off hugely years down the line.
It really is fascinating to see how deeply intertwined all these principles are, from fostering that intrinsic love of learning early on to strategically cultivating things like competition and friendships later.
Absolutely. It's not just one thing, is it? It's a whole ecosystem they describe.
Right. This deep dive really shows us that raising high achievers isn't just about the grades or the test scores. It's a much more holistic approach, rooted in these unwavering family values, a deep appreciation for education itself, and, well, a keen understanding of life's broader opportunities.
Indeed. What truly stands out, I think, is the power of intention and that consistent parental involvement we just talked about. It's about demonstrating day in and day out rather than just telling the value of hard work, sacrifice, and continuous growth,
Yeah.
living those values.
So the final question for you, our listener, what does this all mean for your family? How might intentionally weaving some of these secrets into your daily lives shape your children's journey? Not just towards academic success, perhaps, but towards a life of fulfillment and purpose, equipped with the tools to navigate, well, a pretty complex world.
Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.